Sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee.
Hello everyone, from this week I'm going to create a weekly message for those who want to listen to sermons in English. I hope that you can take benefit out of this weekly message in English. Today's text is from Psalm 121. Let me read it for you. I lift up my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forever. The 15 Psalms from Psalm 120 to 134 are called the Songs of Ascent. These were songs that people sang when they went up to Jerusalem to worship God for the 3 required festivals. And Psalm 121 is the second psalm in the group of psalms. As you know, Jerusalem was surrounded by mountains so that it looked like a natural fortress. The city was like a naturally fortified castle surrounded by mountains. Therefore, whenever people traveled to Jerusalem and went up the hills, they could see the natural fortification and thought that the city was protected by the mountains. But the psalmist says that it is not the mountains that protect the city, but God who made the mountains. The mountains are like a means of God's help, but God Himself is the source of help. Often, we are likely to depend on the means of God's help rather than on God Himself, who supplies the means. If you look at the psalm again, and especially pay attention to the words in red, the psalmist says that the God of Israel watches over His people, and he emphasized it 5 times. And he says God keeps them from all harms. The message is very clear here. It is that we have to lift up our eyes to God, who is the source of help and strength, not look to other objects, although they seem to be so helpful. Psalm 125 verse 2 has the same message. It says, as the mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds His people, both now and forever. If you look at this map, you can see that the city Jerusalem was surrounded by 7 different hills. From the physical landscape, it seems that the city is well protected by the hills. But in reality, the psalmist says that the Lord surrounds His people. In fact, the mountains and hills surround the city, but actually the Lord surrounds His people, and the Lord protects His people now and forevermore. The 15 Psalms in the category of the Songs of Ascent reminded all the pilgrims of the most important spiritual lesson while they were approaching the holy city and singing these psalms. The message is that the Lord, who is the maker of heaven and earth, is the true help in life. And this message continues from the beginning to the end in the group of psalms. For example, Psalm 121 verse 2, we read it just before. It says, my help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. And Psalm 124 verse 8 says, our help is in the name of the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. And that is the middle part of the group of songs. And finally, Psalm 134 verse 3 says, May the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth, bless you from Zion. Psalm 134 is the last psalm in the group of songs, and verse 3 is the last verse. So literally, this verse is the conclusion of the group of songs called the Songs of Ascent. What is the conclusion? It is the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He is a true help. He is a source of help and strength in life. As we start a new week, let us lift up our eyes to the Lord, who supplies all different kinds of means and methods of His help in our lives. Let's trust in the Lord, who is the source of our help and strength. Do not look at anything else, although they seem to be so helpful and powerful. But don't forget, it's not the mountains, but the maker of those mountains. Have a wonderful and blessed week.